What if you could basically bypass the whole wait until you're 60 retirement plan? Well, today we're going to break down a really clever financial strategy that lets you do just that. It's a way to build a literal ladder to your financial freedom, and you can do it years ahead of schedule.
So, let's say you've been doing everything you're supposed to, right? You've been diligently saving in your 401k or your traditional IRA. Awesome. But here's the catch. That money is pretty much locked up until you're almost 60. And that begs the question, what if you want to get your hands on it sooner?
And yeah, that catch, it's a big one. If you even think about touching that money before you hit age 59 and a half, boom, the IRS slaps you with a 10% penalty right off the top. And that's before you even pay income taxes on it. It's basically this huge wall they've built to keep you and your money apart for decades. But what if there was a way to, build a ladder to get over that wall? A strategy to create a pipeline of penalty-free cash that you could tap into in your 40s or 50s. Well, good news, there is, and it's called a Roth Conversion Ladder. So here it is, the Roth Conversion Ladder. At its core, the idea is actually pretty simple. You move money from a pre-tax account, like your 401k, over to a Roth IRA. Now, you do have to pay income tax on that money up front for the year you move it. But here's the magic trick. After a 5-year waiting period, you can take out that exact money you converted, completely tax-free and penalty-free. Okay, so how do we actually build this thing? It's a process for sure. It takes some patience and planning, but the actual mechanics, they follow a pretty simple, consistent rhythm. Think of it like a 4-step routine you do every year. First, you convert. You move a chunk of your pre-tax money, and yep, you pay the income taxes on it. Second, you wait. This is the most important part, that 5-year aging period. Third, you withdraw. After 5 years, that chunk of money is yours for the taking. No taxes, no penalties. And finally, step 4, you repeat. You do this every single year, and just like that, you're building a ladder, rung by rung, creating this awesome, steady flow of income for your future self. Let's make this real with an example. Check this out. Imagine you're 45. This year, you convert $50,000. Then you wait. 5 years later, when you turn 50, that exact 50 grand is now available for you to withdraw, completely penalty-free. The next year, at 46, you do it again, another 50,000. That batch becomes available when you're 51. See the pattern? You're literally building this predictable, penalty-free income stream for yourself that kicks in 5 years after you start. Okay, now for this to actually work, you absolutely have to understand the most important and honestly, the most misunderstood part of this whole strategy. It all comes down to timing, specifically the 5-year rule, or actually the 5-year rules, plural. All right, lean in for this one because this is where folks get tripped up. There are 2 totally different 5-year rules. The first rule is all about the investment earnings in your Roth account. For our ladder strategy today, you can pretty much ignore that one. We are focused on rule number 2. This one applies only to the money you converted, the principal. And here's the key. Every single conversion you make starts its very own separate 5-year clock. And the whole point of that clock is to free that one specific chunk of money from that nasty 10% penalty. So let's follow the life of a single rung on our ladder. Here's a cool little quirk in the tax code. It doesn't matter if you make your conversion in February or November. The 5-year clock is always backdated to January 1st of that year. So for 5 years, that money just sits there and ages. Then, like clockwork, on January 1st, 5 years later, bam, it's unlocked. The timing is super precise, and getting it right is everything. Now, this strategy is incredibly powerful, but let's be real. It's not for everybody. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. It really needs a specific set of circumstances and a whole lot of planning. So let's dig into who this is really for and what the absolute must-haves are. You hear about this strategy a ton in the FIRE community, right? Financial independence, retire early. But honestly, its use goes way beyond that. Think of it as a perfect bridge fund. Maybe you want to retire at, say, 60, but need some income to get you to when Social Security starts. Perfect. Or here's a really smart play. It's great if you know you're going to have a few lower income years coming up. Maybe you're taking a career break or going back to school. That's your golden window to convert money at a much, much lower tax rate. Okay, and this is the absolute most critical point of the entire thing. This strategy completely falls apart if you don't have other money to live on for at least 5 years. This is that bridge fund we're talking about. While that first rung of your ladder is maturing, you need cash or a brokerage account or something to pay your bills. If you don't have that bridge, you simply can't build the ladder, period. Like any powerful tool, there are definitely some traps you need to avoid. First big one, don't get greedy and convert too much all at once. You could accidentally shove yourself into a way higher tax bracket for the year. Second, and this is huge, always pay the conversion taxes from your separate account, not from the money you're converting. And finally, you have to be obsessive about the timing. Get that 5-year clock wrong by even a day, and you'll get hit with the exact penalty this whole strategy is designed to avoid.
Look, because all these rules are so tricky and the tax consequences are so significant, pretty much every expert says the same thing. Talk to a professional. Seriously, a financial advisor or a tax pro can look at your specific personal situation and help you figure out if this ladder is really the right tool for you.
So, what's the bottom line here? The Roth Conversion Ladder is a total game changer, but it is not a quick fix. It's a carefully planned strategy that requires you to think at least 5 years ahead. What it does is take the rigid, old-school rules of retirement and transforms them into a flexible source of income. It really puts you back in control, giving you the power to access your money on your timeline. So the only real question left is, could a 5-year plan unlock your financial future?